Welcome to the Dad Bod Strong podcast. After a few takes, we have been able to get it right. GarageBand is, it's been interesting trying to change the different settings and make sure that I have the right settings so that way it doesn't echo, it doesn't have a high pitch, or all that good stuff. In the studio or office today, I have my lovely wife. She is going to listen to this podcast. She's either going to give me the double thumbs down. I think she's gotten that once while she's driving before. Or she's going to give me the thumbs up as I'm talking through this podcast today. So we'll see how things go. Normally she's like one of my many listeners, so I'm not sure if she'll listen to this on the back end, so that way I can boost my listenership up. With that being said, today is again Sunday. Today is my dreaded weigh-in day, my measurement day, my meal prep day that I haven't even started, and it's 4 o'clock. I hope to get that started here before too long because I am almost out of chicken, and I eat a lot of chicken, and I need to make some burgers for my breakfast. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it gets started, initiated really soon, but if not, I'm going to be living on Kirkland protein bars because I've been eating a lot of those as of late. Speaking of weigh-in day, I'm down. I mean, I won't say I'm down. I'm pretty steady. Today I was at 220.6. I want to say last week I was 222. So it's been fluctuating from 220 to 226. I think I'm going to celebrate once I hit like 219 or be in the teens of some type because I haven't seen that. Really, I haven't seen that in a long time. Just like the underside of my belly while I'm standing. I haven't seen that in a long time either. So I'm hoping that I get to 219 as my wife is cracking a little bit of a smile. That was intended to be a joke, but apparently it wasn't that good of a joke because she's not really even laughing. But we're going to get there. It's definitely one of those things that is a challenge. As my wife talked to me last podcast, she said that maybe I shouldn't talk a little bit about this as much at the front end. So I'm going to speed things up a little bit. It is episodic, so if you have not listened to any of the other episodes of the Dad Bod Strong podcast, I highly recommend them because they are entertaining. I hope they're relatable. I hope it's one of those things that you also can sympathize, you also can connect, and you also understand maybe the struggles that I am going through, because that's really what this podcast is about. It's about my struggle. It's about how I'm trying to be stronger. It's about how I'm trying to find my pathway moving forward. And I think I've maybe gotten there. I've seen some pictures. I've seen some change in my overall health and fitness. Not necessarily a CrossFit Games athlete, but at least I can move a little bit better. I'm not breathing nearly as heavy, and the clothes are fitting a lot better. I've been continuing with my ROM WODs. I'm not sure if I've talked about that at all, but been doing a lot of ROM WODs lately. ROM WODs are definitely helping my overall mobility, my health, my strength, my fitness. And I really recommend it. If it's something that you haven't done, I would find maybe something that you can stretch, gain that mobility. I've noticed that I've lost quite a bit of mobility as I've gotten older. Definitely a tighter back, hamstrings. Really, generally overall, that could be chalked up to not stretching after many CrossFit workouts because I don't take care of myself as much as I probably should. But I think that these ROM WODs have definitely helped. Getting flexy and swoley, or swole and flexy, I think is the hashtag that I try to throw on my Instagram photos. I try to throw those on. So if you have not checked out my social media pages, I highly recommend it. I really only have two, and they're two Instagram pages. I really don't get on Facebook all that much. So if you want to find me on Instagram, you can find me at dad_strong or dad_bod_strong, or you can find me at the Dad Bod Podcast, or the Dad Bod Strong Podcast. Sorry about that. Those are my two Instagram handles. You can find me there. My wife is laughing as I'm kind of slipping my way through all of those things. But check me out on all my social media platforms. Also, too, if If you're finding this podcast other than iTunes, great. I don't know if I'm on anything other than iTunes. I kind of started this and hurried up and got it on iTunes and really haven't done anything more since. I guess I do have a website. It is my Libsyn website, but there's not much there other than the postings of these shows. I really should probably get it on really a couple other platforms, but we'll see. But please, check me out on iTunes. Drop me a rating. Also, drop me a review. Please add some kind words if you like the show. If you don't, you can add those words too. So, like I said, today was weigh-in day. I'm down. Measurements are a little bit better. A little bit, they're not. There was one measurement I think was better. My calf has grown an inch. So I have some monster calves. I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but I have some monster calves. I think there was an episode of How I Met Your Mother when Marshall, I can't remember the actor's name, but Marshall and Lily, but Marshall had monster calves, and I think that's what she was strongly attracted to. I don't know if my lovely wife Marcy is attracted to my massive calves, but they are huge. They are 19 inches. 19, right? Yeah, I think they're 19. But my chest is down from the beginning. My waist is down from the beginning. Maybe not necessarily the transformation that I've desired to see, but I will say that my pants are fitting a little bit better. And the belt I can definitely tighten a little bit more, which means, unfortunately, I need to wear a belt. Didn't wear a belt yesterday. Definitely paid the price for that because I kept having to pull my freaking pants up the whole time. I guess that's a good thing. Those are good things about this transformation journey. Having to wear a belt, what I'll do is I'll make sure that if that's the worst thing that I have to do, I'm okay with that. I may have to buy some new clothes, but I think I'm a little bit away from that. If I lose maybe 10 more pounds, that'll put me about 30 pounds since we began this journey. But I think what I want to talk about today is not necessarily my massive calves, my man calves, but I want to talk a little bit more about connections, more about the aspect of friendship and the struggle that I think a lot of us go through. I've listened to a couple podcasts over the week, and some of the things some of my takeaways. One of the takeaways that I listened to, it was a podcast about drug usage, and it was maybe the aspect of legalization of drugs. Not necessarily saying I'm for or against or anything like that, but maybe some failures as it related back to the drug war. But the thing that struck me the most was maybe the mental health implications, and I'll try to explain what I mean by that. The mental health implications of depression and feeling connected with others, and that connection between addiction and depression. That was my takeaway from that discussion. And talking about that, the hopelessness that a lot of us feel. I feel a lot of hopelessness, or I have felt hopelessness as I've started this journey. I thought that I saw myself in the mirror, and over the course of time, I really didn't think that I had maybe transformed to what I had been before. But looking at pictures now compared to pictures 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, I've definitely seen an improvement. But there was a lot of hopelessness when I first started. There was a lot of worry, a lot of angst in my life. The scales didn't move as quickly as I'd liked it to have. I remember watching Facebook videos and seeing people just have these amazing transformations in 6 weeks, and it made me feel a lot more depressed about where I was at. And that can not having anybody to really talk to. I mean, I talk to my wife, but she's always nice to me. Well, I'm going to say she's somewhat nice to me most days. Most days that end in a Y, she's nice to me. So She's looking at me now, give me the stink eye. But I think that hopelessness, anybody that ever has or has tried to lose weight, we always have that hopelessness. We always think that, man, this is going to be tough. I can't do it. Or I have ate amazingly great for a week and I've lost a half a pound. And why is that? I have eaten my 4 cups of vegetables every day for every meal that I was supposed to on my RP strength template, and I still only lost a half a pound. And I've gotten there. And I have felt that it really over 7 weeks or 6 weeks. I don't even remember how many weeks I've been doing this. It's been since the first of the year. Today's March 3rd. And I've only really lost weight. I've only lost maybe 20 pounds. I haven't lost an extreme amount of weight. But it's, people talk about body composition. That's great. I don't have 6-pack abs. I don't think I'll ever have 6-pack abs. Maybe I'll have 4-pack someday. I've got definitely a layer of fat that's protecting that 6-pack of abs. So we'll see how that goes over time. But I think it's one of those things that having that hopelessness and having good friends to talk to about our struggles, not necessarily just maybe our spouses or people within our immediate circle, but for me, I'm putting this out there on the internet so anybody can listen to and anybody can critique my weight loss or lack thereof. Definitely makes me feel pretty vulnerable right now as I talk about it because I've seen what people post on the internet. I'm on Twitter. I don't post anything on Twitter, but I see the mobs of people that post things on Twitter and go after people. So it's one of those things that I'm kind of vulnerable. I'm putting myself out there. I'm putting myself on the internet for all to hear. But I continue to think about this hopelessness feeling. And especially for those of myself that are overweight, maybe deconditioned. And this has been a massive barrier. I think it's one of those barriers that it's a hurdle to overcome, definitely. And how do you initiate or how do you start the inertia? I mean, my daughter had a science fair or a Science Olympia thing yesterday, and I thought about different words that I could use, and inertia being one of them. How can you start that inertia of losing weight towards change? And one, it's like, hey, you know what? I recognize that I need to do something, but yeah, I've recognized that I need to do something for years and I haven't done it. So why haven't I done it? What are those things, or what are those things that are driving me to now say, hey, this is the time? I don't think it's necessarily about connections, but I don't think that that's why I started, but I think that that's why I've been continuing. I've talked about how I've started and I've stopped this different weight loss journeys over time. I remember being a kid and thinking, I was definitely overweight as a kid. And I remember watching, I think it was Beverly Hills 90210, which is coming back on TV, which I probably won't watch. But they were probably 10 years older than I was. And I remember thinking, man, I could look like that only if I started doing push-ups right now. So I think I got down, I did 10 push-ups, and I thought, well, I'm going to look amazing here. Yeah, that didn't continue. I didn't continue with those push-ups. Maybe if I continued with those push-ups, I may have not necessarily been in the condition that I was when I finally graduated college. But I definitely had a lot of hopelessness in a sense. I never thought that I was going to be, I don't know if I really had a lot of positive body self-image in a sense. I think I always struggled with that a little bit, and I still think I struggle with that. I think one of the podcasts one of my early podcasts, I talked about how I kind of felt like I was always going to be that fat, chubby kid. Every time I even think about it, I get a lump in my throat. It's definitely one of those harder things to talk about. How do you overcome that? Being just mercilessly teased and harassed as a younger kid. How do you overcome that? And I think almost being 40, it's definitely one of those things it's hard to overcome. But I think one of those ways that we can do that, and I think the biggest difference for me is as I've continued, I've been able to share and connect with other people that are struggling just as much as I have. And the first connection, I really think the first connection that I developed outside of my immediate family, outside of my wife, outside of my kids probably don't even notice, other than Dad eats out of black Tupperware all the time, and we have to buy a lot of vegetables. But the first connection that I developed was, I'm going to say it was with my brother. It was either Christmas Day or the day after Christmas, but it was relatively right around there. My brother sends me a text message, and the text message was a simple question: "Can I share something with you?" And of course, I'm not quite sure how that was going to go down, but absolutely. I mean, he's my brother. If there's something that I can do to help him, I'd be more than willing to help him do anything I can. And he proceeds to send me a set of pictures of this amazing transformation. Like, to this day, I'm still, my mouth just hits the floor. I mean, it was amazing to see what he had done, because as a family, we have struggled with weight loss. Me, my brother, my sister, but probably me mostly. I think that I've maybe they would say differently. Maybe they say the same thing about that I'm saying here today. But it's one of those things that we've kind of struggled with. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster in a sense that we've lost weight, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight. I'm hoping that as I lose this weight, I'll keep it off, but I can't say that that's going to happen. I'm going to do the best that I can to be able to stay and maintain a level of health. But he sends me the pictures, and I had already committed to myself that I was going to start this weight loss journey. I had already started logging different things through recording different images, recording different things of myself, talking just into my phone, talking about how there needed to be a change. Was I jealous? Absolutely. Because, man, he had lost a lot of weight, and now he was going to start trying to gain some strength back. He had lost a lot of weight as it related to fat loss, and now he was going to start trying to gain some more weight back and do some different exercises. So it was, for me. Yeah, I felt a little depressed, but in a sense that I'd let myself get away, but I was definitely motivated. I was motivated to see the change that he had made in his life, the sacrifice, the struggle that he had gone through. I know that he had tried the keto diet. I think he kind of still follows it in a certain degree. I don't know how much of it he actually follows, but I think that was one of the things that he has done. I don't tell you that I have all the answers. So if the keto diet is the diet for you, great. Hey, if you're losing weight, great. Definitely not for me. I last time I tried it, I got the keto flu, like I said before, and I just don't think that it's definitely one for me. But it was amazing. It actually motivated me. I was sitting at the gym, I think, working out when I first saw those pictures. And so we've continued with that connection. I don't want to say it's something that we talk every day. I don't say we talk every week or talk probably at least once a month or a couple times a month. But he continues to share with me in his journey. He continues to text back and forth as we talk about the different things that he's done to be able to help get him to where he is. So that's really, for me, that's connection one. That's that connection outside of my inner circle here within these four walls of my house. He is the first one. And I think that we need to continue to build on those connections. I've been able to make other connections with people at the gym that I work out at. And, talking to them about sometimes weight loss and trying to find different things to be able to see results. It's tough. It's one of those things that not all of us I don't have all the answers. I don't think anybody really does. If they do, they're lying to you. As I mentioned, I'm not here to sell you anything, promote anything, other than just try to, live my life on this podcast and talk about what I'm doing to try to maybe help me. But I think talking with them, I've been able to help them, I think, provide them some, I don't want to say motivation, but maybe guide them through some different struggles that I faced throughout my journey here. I've also been a little bit more active on my Instagram feeds, posting more pictures. Remember, dad_bod_strong. Please check that out. Or you can check out the podcast, Instagram as well. My wife has given me the eye there. But I use those things as another attempt to connect with others. Another attempt for people to see that it's not hopeless. Because as I mentioned before, that level of hopelessness, it's not hopeless. There are things that we can do together. And I think that we are stronger together. I think as we talk about weight loss and as we talk about things that we can do, I think that we are stronger together. It's kind of cliche to say, but we are stronger together. I think all of us on this journey, we're stronger with the connections than we are without the connections. We feel that, like me, as I first started my weight loss journey, I tried to keep this thing as a secret. Why? I don't know. Other than it was just to show people that I could do it and I could do it by myself. But that, I don't know. That was only 6 weeks ago, and I thought about that, and now that I think about it, it was silly. I shouldn't have done that. No, I think probably the reason why was because I didn't want to fail in front of other people. Because I thought it was worse to fail than it was to do anything else. And I didn't want to fail in front of everybody else. I don't know if that's a deep-seated thing about failure in my life, but I always want to succeed. No matter what I do, I always want to succeed. And I always try to do what I can to succeed. And I think that part of me, and still part of me, is afraid to fail. I think we all are. But as I've been kind of spilling my thoughts, my emotions, all of that on, in this podcast and other podcasts, I think it's going to help to allow me to overcome some of those feelings. And I hope it does. Maybe this is my therapy. Maybe I need to go see somebody in a sense. Maybe they can listen to this podcast. They can provide me with some suggestions or recommendations. But I think about how can we make more connections? How can we build that social network? How can we motivate others? What can we do to push through those difficult times? For me, I made a list. There are different things that I think I can do that I suggest everybody else also consider, because it's not always going to be easy. For me, as I said, this podcast, it's my journey. And you know what? If you want to share your journey on this podcast, you want to talk to me, I'll be more than happy to record you. I got ways and methods to be able to do that. If you want to be on and you want to talk to me about maybe the Dad Bod Strong podcast, but I think that we, like I said, we're stronger together. And if we want to talk about it, we've got definitely 30 or 40 minutes to be able to sit down and talk together, and we can do it on a weekly basis. I've got enough storage that we can talk about it, trust me. But for me to start, it's this podcast, because I feel like I can connect with others. I feel that I have that ability to establish those connections, and from those connections, then we can continue to grow that social network. The other way is social media. As I said, I've got my 2 Instagram feeds, and I think that that's one way that I can do it as well. I'm also like I mentioned before, I'm not necessarily a big Facebook or person. I don't like to get on Facebook. I don't like to check it as often. Not to say that I'm for or against it. It's just not something that I'm drawn to right now. But I am part of the RP, Renaissance Periodization Diet Facebook group. it's too bad that it's a closed group, because I think there are a lot of good things about it. There are a lot of good things as it relates back to not necessarily the aspect of, amazing transformations and people asking questions about what they can do and how to better make make what they're eating fit into their macros. But occasionally I see posts from people that are just feeling super defeated, that they felt like I did when I first bought some of those templates, and I tried them the first time around and it didn't go well. But seeing some people just throwing their hands up there and just saying, hey, I just can't do it. I feel defeated. I just want to give up. And I've seen a lot. I haven't seen a lot of those posts, but I've seen those posts. And it's those posts initiate so much reaction from other people in that group that I want to say it's probably one of those comments to those posts are definitely very uplifting. People rally behind them, and to see how those people react so positively to others is just amazing. And I think that that's one way that it could definitely help motivate others is through social media and develop those connections, because I'm sure some of those people probably still talk to one another. I see people try to connect with each other via Instagram from that group, just so that way they have an opportunity to build that social network and build that have more connections to be able to rely on as they move forward. But that did get me to thinking, hey, if there was a way I could start a hashtag that we could all kind of rally behind. I don't necessarily have any good ideas. My creative juices don't necessarily lend me to come up with some creative hashtag, but I do think that we the more that we unite together, we can uplift others. And so maybe it's united together or united to uplift, or I don't know. Motivation, connection, who knows? But I think that we are definitely all part of a tribe, in a sense that we're all part of a group. We all try to get together. We're all trying to fight for that same common good. So that's another way that I think that we can definitely build that social network. Another one, it's in the gyms we all work out in. If you don't think that there's anybody else struggling doing the same thing that you are, then you're wrong. Why else do we go work out? Yeah, I talk about, I just want to make sure that I have a higher level of fitness. That's great. But I also want to look good doing it too. I want to, as I said, I want to be able to take my shirt off and not be secretly judged by everybody else. Because as the owner of the gym puts the pictures on the CrossFit Oakdale Instagram feed, I don't necessarily want to be the poster child for, and this is why he comes to the gym, so that way he can lose the weight. I want to look amazing. I want to look amazing when I go to the beach, when we go to Santa Cruz this summer. I want to look amazing. I want people to say, damn, that guy looks good. But right now, I look better. I don't look good, but I look better. As my wife is shaking her head, she's like, yeah, he looks better. He's still got some around the midsection that he could probably lose. As I said, I can almost see the underside of my belly from the standing position. I felt that was pretty motivational, that I didn't need to fold back that layer of, I'm going to call it fat, that layer of fat to be able to see what it looked like. But it's getting close. I want to be able to see all that while I'm standing, not necessarily have to check myself out in the mirror. But I think that, talking about the gyms that we work out in, there are definitely other people that are struggling. And we all come in different shapes and sizes. We all think that, although we may be thin, we might want to build strength. We might want to do different things to be able to make us look a little bit better. Hey, we're all doing it. We're all trying to transform in one way or another. How we do that is, by going to the gym. And so if we can build that social network by talking with others at our local gym, to be able to, increase our level of fitness while also losing weight or gaining weight, however you want to do, whatever you're doing, I think we need to try to build that connection there too. And one other way that I think has definitely helped me, and I don't, maybe not people as much that I've connected with, but Apple Watch now has an interesting connection where you can connect with other people, and you can, through that connection, you can compete with others, but also too, you can see how many calories they've burned for the day. You can see how much exercise they have committed for the day. You can also see if they've hit their sit to stand, if they've stood at least once every 12 hours throughout the day. There are different things that it's been able to do. I'm kind of a competitive person, so if you want to connect with me, great. But I'm going to go for walks during my lunch hour to try to crush you. I'm going to try to do everything I possibly can. Now, granted, the walks in my lunch hour have definitely subsided a little bit since nobody wants to compete with me, but I even count my flexibility, my ROM WOD. Maybe that's cheating. I don't know. It is still stretching, and I'm still working out in the morning at 5:30. And what's funny is, as I just talked about that, my wife just sent me hey, I want to connect with you, and I want to set up a competition. So now that means that I get to walk during my lunch hour, or some other time. I'll figure out a time. I don't know what time that is, but I'm going to figure out a time. So we're definitely gonna have to try to compete that way too. But if you want to connect with me, just let me know. I'd be happy to connect with you as well. Because I think that, to me, I think the more we build that social network, the more we can kind of rally behind each other. I think that being able to see where people are at, I've seen my sister-in-law, she has connected with me, and we've connected on our Apple Watches, and my God, she works out all the time. It's amazing. I haven't been able to see her for quite a while, so I'm sure she's probably doing great, just like my brother is. And it gives me an opportunity to continue to build that network. My wife and I have connected. I've connected with a couple other people at the gym. I think the more that we connect, the better it is. But if you want to connect, you gotta have an Apple Watch, I think, because that's part of it. I don't know if it connects with people outside of the Apple network. And you have to share your contact information. So if you want to do that with me, and you've listened to this podcast, I'd be more than happy to. I'm not necessarily the picture fitness, but I do compete. Like I said, I am in the CrossFit Open this week, and with the CrossFit Open being this week, I did do 19.2. I got to the 185-pound squat cleans. Just didn't get through them, unfortunately. There's always next time. I thought I was going to get through the 185. I was 7 reps in. I needed to get 13. I was 6 short, but I almost got the extra points for the team salute the glutes for puking, because for some reason I was fighting off the Kirkland protein bars that I had ate prior to the workout. Definitely probably shouldn't ate those Kirkland protein bars, but hey, that is what it is. So I'm going to start wrapping up this podcast. But as I talk about it, remember, connections. I think that we need to overcome that hopeless and helpless feeling. I think it's all about connections. What connections can we make? What connections can you make to be able to help you with your journey? As you build those connections, remember, we all struggle. And yeah, we may fall from time to time. We may gain a pound or two here or there, but it's not the end of the world. And the more we can connect with each other, the more we can increase that social network for people that are, also doing the same thing, the better. So please, if you want to connect with me, please check out my Instagram at dad_bod_strong. And then also the Dad Bod Strong podcast. You can check me out there. Those are 2 areas that we can definitely connect. Send me a message. Send me a message through the messaging app, or also you can leave me a comment on our website. Please check me out. Drop me a rating on iTunes, and also leave me a comment. I try to check those out each week too, and so far, I think I'm probably the only one that's rated my podcast at a 5-star. So if you haven't, please give me 5 stars. That'd be great. But until next time, this is the Dad Bod Strong podcast.